Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about the sales funnel for free mobile apps. Alright, so today I want to talk about something which is very simple, but it's also very important. So for those of you guys who've been watching the channel for a long time, this is all going to seem like very common sense stuff. We talk about this all the time, but I find myself explaining it a lot to new developers or people who are not really in the app industry so much. Like I was talking to somebody the other day and I was talking about an app with a certain number of downloads, and he was saying, are those really important? How much money do you make per each download? And developers are asking me on the comments all the time, if I got 1,000 downloads a day, how much would I be making a month? And the reality is that's just a small part of it, but it's a very important part of it. You see, as a client business, we have a sales funnel. So we think about the sales funnel and how do we move people through that sales funnel from that first time they contact us all the way to the first project. So we have like a documented sales funnel that we go through, and we tweak it from time to time depending on the client. But apps have a sales funnel too. So have a look at my screen here. I wanted to put things down, especially for free applications, the different steps that you have to go through in order to make money from applications. So this is going to be very, very simple, but you go through search, you go through page views, you go through downloads, ads, and buy. And you could skip certain parts of this, and it's not relevant to every application, but I'm talking about most of my applications, pretty much this. So we start off with search, and search is how people are going to find your app. So many new app developers put apps on the App Store or on Google Play, and they're not thinking, the first thought should be, how am I going to get this in front of people? How are they going to find it? And the easiest and cheapest way to do it is through search optimization. So people are already searching for it, your app shows up in the search results, and then it takes it from there. So if they don't know about it, then they're not going to know about it. You're not going to get anywhere. Now you could bypass the search step completely if you have an advertising budget, or if you have a large social media following or 1 million friends that you could show it to. You could bypass search altogether. I don't have any of those things, and advertising is hit and miss with me. So we rely on search optimization a lot. Most of my revenue comes from the apps being search optimized. And when you talk about search optimization, we talk about ASO, but that's mainly App Store optimization. That encompasses the whole thing. But we talk about the keywords. What are people going to be searching for to find your app? And are those keywords too saturated? So there's all these keyword tools out there, but that's basically the question you're trying to ask, right? What can you put into your description and your title that will show up in search results and show up there? And then you got the ranking as well, which is depending on the algorithm, the Google Play or the Apple algorithms, that could be based on the ratings and reviews, the number of downloads, the backlinks going to the page, and also the competition you have there. So that's very important. So if you're not showing up in search, that's the first thing you have to think about. Why are you not showing up in search? Next, we have the page views. So if nobody's looking at your App Store page or your Play Store page, then that's obviously a problem, because they can't download the app if they don't get to that point. So if they're not actually even getting there, then the problem is usually your icon or your title or your rankings. So if you have an ugly icon, they might just go to something else. If the title doesn't look interesting to them, then they're not going to click on it. They're going to go for something else. So this is something else that you have to think about too. Now, again, if you're using advertising, it's not so much an issue. That's more your ad copy and whether or not they're getting there. But if you go to the Google Play acquisition report, this is the kind of things that we look at. And next we go to downloads. And then that point is where you really start to connect with the user. So if people are looking at your page view, they're looking at the Play Store page and they're not downloading, then it's usually the fault of your screenshots are bad, your description so much, but I don't think the description counts as much as a lot of other people do, and the reviews. So if it's all bad reviews, then they won't download it. I mean, I wouldn't download it, even if it's free. So then you get to that point, and then you get to the point where you actually be able to make a bit of revenue from it, and we go to ads. Now, I know we have some clients who say, hey, I just don't want to use ads. I want to have the free application, but I only want to do in-app purchases. But in my experience, the number of people who are going to purchase on this funnel, this conversion rate is going to be really low. So for me, going from page views to downloads is about 26%. Going from downloads to purchases is like 2%. I mean, people think it's going to be 50% or 75%, but it's nowhere near that. Now, it's higher on iOS than it is on Google Play, right? So, but I still make most of my revenue from Google Play because we have so many more downloads, and so we're able to show ads. So when we get to ads, you get to make money through ads, but it's a very low amount. You need to have a lot of downloads and a lot of scale in order to do that. And you could think, well, it's not even worth doing, but if you can have ads you should be making something, because you may blow up at some point. You'll kick yourself for not having ads in there. And also it reminds the users that the app is not, it's free, but it's not free. So they could pay to remove those ads, although ideally you'd have something else. And then finally, and when you talk about ads and revenue, if you're not making enough money through ads, you either don't have enough impressions, you don't have the right kind of impressions. You have to think about, are you using interstitials or banners or video ads or whatever, or native ads? And for me, interstitials have always paid so much better than the rest, even though they're a lot more annoying to the user, but they have a higher RPM or eCPM. And you have to think about which type of ad networks you're going to use. For me, AdMob always works best, but try different ones because they're different for different people in different locations. And that's another thing. We're always tweaking everything. And then finally, the purchases. And all of the purchases in my applications are non-consumable, which means the user only has to buy them one time, and then they can restore it on other devices. Ideally, we go through consumable purchases. I am so envious of apps that have consumable purchases, like purchasing coins or in-app currency, and they have to keep going and replenishing it. So they use consumable, meaning they use it up. Or subscriptions too. We don't have any subscriptions, although I've been thinking about trying to go to that with other things. So that's the ideal situation, where you just, once you acquire that user, you get them into that stage where they're purchasing things, then they can continue to generate revenue from you rather than having everybody come back through the funnel and it's a pure flow. For me, it's always been, I require the downloads coming in each day. I require the retention. The retention is good if you're serving ads because they keep coming in, and it's also good if you have subscription, obviously. But this is the thing to think about a lot, is to think about what stage, if your apps are not working the way that you want them to, at what stage is it failing? For a lot of people, it's failing in search. It's like nobody's even downloading it, or it's failing in the page views because people are looking at it, but they're not getting past that. So hopefully this is a little bit helpful. Like I said, for you guys who've been on the channel for a long time, it's pretty much the same. And it varies depending on applications. If you don't have ads, you bypass that step. But I'd be interested to hear what your turnover rate is on purchases, because for me, it's just really low. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys today. I hope you have a fantastic day. That's it for today. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.